So we're going to go ahead and do some of the piping for our pot of choux. We're going to do cream puff and we're going to do eclair. We're also going to include the crustade that's on the top of that. I've already went ahead and made that crustade, or the choux crust as we call it. Really simple. It's just your butter, flour, and sugar. You paddle that together until it's like a paste-like mixture, and then you roll it out in between 2 pieces of parchment paper, just 2 pieces of half parchment paper, really, really thin. We're talking like 1/8 of an inch or thinner. We've taken that and then frozen it. So that one we kind of want to do ahead of time. In fact, I would start with that recipe even. I think it's the best way. That way you can just get it done and frozen. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our pot of choux piping. Have a bag here, my pot of choux that it's been made. I get a good scoop on my spatula. My bag has been folded back a little bit, and then I squeeze the spatula itself, right? So that I'm left with some of the mixture in here. Now, just like anything else, don't overfill your bag, especially with pot of choux. It's already stiff enough to pipe. We're gonna go ahead and start with the cream puffs first. And now I'm using the star tip. I think this is an 868 tip. You don't have to. You can use the plain tips for cream puffs as well. I just don't want to change tips in the middle of the presentation, so I'm going to go ahead and use one all the way throughout. So anytime we're piping the cream puffs, we're going to go straight down on the mat. This is the black mat. We squeeze, release, and then turn. Notice that the tip is not moving anywhere. Squeeze, release, and turn. It's staying level the entire time. And my bag doesn't, well, I'm going to show you what we don't want to do. You don't want to squeeze it and then pull up. You get that point on the top. Yes, we're putting the crustade in, it won't really matter in the end, but it's really bad practice to do that. So we're squeezing and turning with our tip basically level with the rest of the cream puff so that it will grab onto our remaining dough, or the remaining pot of choux, so it won't have that weird little point on the top, okay? And we'll stop here, and then we're going to talk about the crustade really quick, which I have right behind me. I left myself some room to do the eclair here too. So this is the crustade we made a little earlier. Sometimes the parchment will freeze to the paste. Just rub your hand over the top and release it. Peel back the first sheet. Again, yours will be in half sheet form size. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. I gave it a flip. If you don't release both sides, it tends to want to stick to the paper pretty badly. I'm going to grab my cutter here. And we'll go back. We're just going to cut out little circles. And with those little circles, they go right on top of your cream puffs that you've already piped. And so what this is going to do is a few things. One, it's going to give us an extra texture. Tastes really good, which is what we're always after. But it's also going to make the pot of choux more consistent when it goes into the oven. Like, it'll bake really, really nicely this way. Do a few cutouts, 1, 2, 3. Yes, I still have to cut on camera. All right, so we cut out a few of them here. We can go back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bake these a few without so that you can see the difference. I'll bake that one. It's smaller. I don't know who piped that one. There we go. So I'll leave those 5 untopped so that you can see the difference of the baked product and the finished product. I'll probably put these up online as a picture rather than a video. I think the most important part of this whole video is actually just the preparation of the pot of choux itself and then the piping of it as well. Okay, anytime you refill your bag with choux, it's always going to have an air bubble in it. And if it has an air bubble, mine does, so right here, boop, you can take it and put it right over the rest of your choux and give it a squeeze first. And you'll hear it pop. Right, so boom, it's already removed the air, and that's where we want to be. Now we're going to do eclairs. Eclairs are a little bit different because you have this nice big tube. We want to preserve as much of that size of the tube as we can, right? So we're gonna pipe these out. Notice at the end I'll stop, I go about 6 inches long, and I give it a gentle flip back. That's what we're looking for, right? Nice pressure, about 6 inches, stopping, a little pull, and pull back. So we get that tail kind of flip back into itself. We'll do, I don't know, probably 6 of these or so. Pressure. Notice my bag's kind of at a 45-degree angle. My tail's a little long on that one. 45-degree angle. It's not against the black mat, but just slightly above it, so that we're leading the pot of choux out of the bag. Of course, my last one was the worst one, but that's okay. So we're leading our pot of choux out of the bag. Now, if you have issues like, oh gosh, this looks really ugly, you can always go back with a little bit of water, and I don't have any here because these all look pretty good. A little bit of water, tap your finger in water or milk, either one, and then go ahead and touch the choux, and you can actually kind of mend some of the pointy spots that are on there. So this is going to go into a 350-degree oven. Now, at home, your ovens are probably going to be different, right, than obviously here. Not probably, like you don't have a $40,000 oven sitting in the corner. So I would recommend bumping your oven up. If you have a convection oven at home, maybe you're going to go 375 for the bake for a half an hour. If you have just your standard conventional oven, like most of us do at home, I would also aim for that 375 mark. They can get baked right away. Make sure your oven is fully preheated. Don't put these things in early, okay? And you might have to bake them a little bit longer than a half an hour if you have a conventional oven. That's the oven without the fan. You're probably looking at, you know, 30 to 45 minutes even. We're looking for a deep, dark, like chestnut color. You guys know how I bake stuff, and it bakes a little longer. The thing with choux is if you go light on it, it's gonna collapse and be eggy. That's not what you want in this case, right? You want something that's actually gonna hold its shape and be pretty firm. So use your judgment. You guys have been bakers for a little while now. You'll be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and get these in the oven, and I'll get pictures out to you later. Otherwise, have fun with your pot of choux.